Welcome to another day of Vlogmas. Here ranking all the book boyfriends I've read about this year. I'm gonna put him in bland/boring. I can't really remember much about his character. Those are all my boyfriend, my husband. Everyone else you guys can have. Do I put him in absolute trash? I'm gonna put him in absolute trash. Hey guys, it's Emma. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another day of Vlogmas, and in today's video, we are going to be tier ranking all the book boyfriends I've read about this year. I love doing these videos because I obviously love reading books, love reading romance books, and I love most of the book boyfriends that are in the books. So some of them are amazing. Some of them I literally wish that they were real men and that I could like marry them. Some of them I wish, you know, I could be like friends with. Like they're okay, not really my type, but some of them are just trash. So we're gonna be tier ranking them. You guys are gonna know kind of books that I've read this year so far. I do have a video coming out. It's not gonna be during Vlogmas, but I think it's gonna be one of the last videos of the year, and it's gonna be tier ranking like all the books I read. I did it last year, so I think I'm gonna do it again this year, and I just think it's a mini preview of the books that I've read. But I didn't only read romance books this year, so obviously some of the books that I've read don't have book boyfriends, or I was reading books in series that the book boyfriend is the same. And I did this video last year, so I didn't want to repeat book boyfriends that I have read about. Some of them I didn't include if they were included in last year's tier ranking book boyfriends video. So we have new boyfriends in this video. New boyfriends, it's so funny to say. Yeah, we're going to start. I'm so excited. Okay, so basically how this works, I'm using the tier ranking tier maker website, and I made my own. It's kind of the same as last year, and I wrote all the boyfriends' names that I've read this year, and we're just gonna be talking about how I feel about all of them. Hopefully I remember where they're all from. I'm gonna actually pull up all the books I've read, because if I get the titles of the books, I'll definitely remember what books they're from. Let's explain the tier ranking so you guys know for sure what my feelings are gonna be when I'm ranking them. So we have at the top, till death do us part. Obviously we know what this means. I will literally marry this man if he was a real person. I wish he was real. There's nothing wrong with him. He's absolutely perfect. Then we have major crush. So he's not really perfect, but I did have a crush on him like when I read the book, but I haven't really thought too much about him since. Like till death do us part is like I think about this man every day. Like I compare real men to fictional men, and major crush is kind of like, yeah, I had a major crush on him when I read about him. I'd maybe think about him once in a while, but that's about it. Then we have not my type. This is about like book boyfriends that are sweet and I can see like being a good guy, or like I can see why other people that read about them enjoy them, but they're just not really great to me. And then we have bland, boring, just they didn't give anything in the book. Like they were, you know, okay, they might have been good, but I didn't feel anything for them. Yeah, that's what bland and boring is. And absolute trash is like they were a terrible book boyfriend in the book, they did terrible things, they need therapy, I don't know, stuff like that. So we're going to be ranking book boyfriends now. So let's start with Seth Carson. So Seth Carson is from the book Just My Type. This is the first book I read this year. Basically, I think that was like a second chance romance. Yeah, I can't really remember much about that book, and I feel like I really enjoyed that book just for the vibes. It was giving How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is my absolute favorite movie, so I really liked that book for the vibes, but the actual relationship I don't really remember that much. Like the plot of it was giving How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. The romance wasn't really standing out to me, so I think I might just put him in bland/boring. These are so big. I don't know why they're so big, but yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in bland/boring because I don't know, I can't really remember much about him, so he's gonna go there. Next we have Grayson Hawthorne and Jameson Hawthorne. So these are the brothers from the Hawthorne series, the Inheritance Game series. I've only read the first two books. I don't know if I'm gonna read the last book yet. I'm not quite like into it. Like I don't really know if I'm going to yet. So I think I know who she ends up with. So far, I feel like even in the first two books, we don't get much of them. So personally, I don't really have like a major crush on them, but I do know that a lot of people like them, and I can see why, especially if you like love this series, and I'm sure if you continue reading it, you get more. So I'm gonna put both of them in not my type, because again, I could see why people could have a major crush on them, but me personally, I don't know, I don't see it, I don't feel it. Then we have Jonathan Cunningham. This is the book boyfriend from the book Ghosted. I think it's a second chance romance. He's trying to get back into his ex's life, and he has a daughter that he never met, I don't think. So I kind of like didn't really like him. I'm gonna put him in bland slash boring. I don't know, I only really hear Sarah Caroli, like one of the like best booktubers ever. I use every chance to talk about her. I love her, but I know she does love that book. I don't know, I didn't really enjoy the book too much. I think I actually gave it somewhere in the 2-star range. I don't know, he just didn't stick out to me. There's not much I can say about him, so I think I'm gonna put him in bland slash boring. Next we have Luke Brooks, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he is from Done and Dusted. Yeah, he is in the first book of the Rebel Blue Ranch series, Done and Dusted. I'm gonna say major crush, because you guys already know I love myself a country romance book. I eat them up every single time. So literally every cowboy we have in here will probably go in major crush or Till Death Do Us Part, because I love them. Yeah, that was a good book. I really liked their romance, so he's definitely going in major crush. Next we have Phineas or Finny from If He Had Been With Me. Yeah, If He Had Been With Me. This is a very heartbreaking book. I feel like the romance in that book was just heartbreaking. I feel like it's not a book where you're supposed to crush over the book boyfriend. It's a more like heartfelt, heartbreaking book instead of like, oh, you need to fall in love with this, you know, book boyfriend. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna say, I don't want to say bland slash boring, because honestly I am gonna say bland slash boring, because even though I did love that book, I gave it 4.5 stars. I did love it, but I feel like, again, it's not the type of book that is you're supposed to feel like obsessed with the mailman character. So this is just how the book is set up. So I'm gonna put him in bland slash boring. I think it might be where he belongs. I don't think anyone ever thinks like their favorite book boyfriend and they think of Phineas from If He Had Been With Me. So yeah, he's gonna go there. Next we have Griffin Sinclair. Why don't I remember where this is from? Oh, okay, I do remember. This is from A False Start. This is the 5th book in the, I don't remember, Gold Rush Ranch, I think it's the Gold Rush Ranch. It's the last book. I'm gonna put major crush. Again, this is another cowboy romance, and I loved Griffin so much. I just loved their relationship together, because Nadia, it was an age gap, but Nadia was so mature, and the way Griffin handled the situation with her, with the brother, he was just so mature, and when a guy is mature, it's just so attractive. And yeah, I definitely had a major crush on him for a bit, like because of that series. Like, he is one of the main reasons I love that series. My favorite book in that series was the 4th book. I love that book with all my heart, but the 5th one is probably my 2nd favorite. Next we have Roman Kitts. So this year I did read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, so I included him in here. And Roman Kitts, I'm gonna put in major crush, I think. I don't know, I'm thinking about putting him in Till Death Do Us Part. I'm gonna put him in major crush, because I don't think of him that much. But every time I think about the book, I'm like, wow, he was actually a perfect man. Like, he was absolutely perfect in the books. He was so romantic. Low-key, he was obsessed with her. Like, in the letters that they write to each other in Divine Rivals, the romance is mostly in Divine Rivals. So when I think about him and the romance, I think about the 1st book. And in that 1st book, he was so romantic, so obsessed. I absolutely loved him, and he's so perfect. Next, we have Russ Callahan. I think this is from the book Wildfire. Honestly, I'm gonna also put him in major crush. That was probably my favorite book in that whole series. I did like the guy in the 1st book. I think his name was Nathan or Nate, but Russ was my favorite throughout the whole series. He was just so golden retriever. The way he treated the female main character, I can't even remember her name, but the way he treated her in that book was so cute. And I don't know, he was giving golden retriever, but also like kind of shy. And when guys give both those vibes, it's the cutest thing ever. And yeah, I definitely major crush on him. Next we have Charlie from Betting on You. Didn't like this book, and I didn't like him. He's gonna go in bland slash boring. Again, I can't really remember much about his character. I really couldn't tell you guys anything. That's just where he belongs for me. I think I'm gonna put him in bland slash boring. Next we have Levi King. You guys probably don't even know where this is from. Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. This is from Cruel King, and it's in a series. It's the 1st book in a series. I'm putting this guy in absolute trash. He was the weirdest like book boyfriend I ever read about. He was a bully. Like, he was so rude and mean to the female main character, and I was like, I wonder if people are reading this and actually enjoying it, because it's a long series. Like, I don't know, but I read that 1st book and I knew I didn't want to read the other ones, because I was like, if all the books are like this, I definitely don't want to read it. He was just possessive, but like possessive in like the rude, mean, like creepy way. And I was like, yeah, this is not giving. You need help and you need a reality check, because I don't know, he also just thought he was like the best. I don't even know where they went, like a school or something. He just thought he was all that and a bag of chips. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. So he's going in absolute trash for sure. Next we have Samuel Callahan. Another Callahan, that's so weird. He is the boy from The Brightest Light of Sunshine. I loved that book so much, and I'm definitely gonna put him in major crush. He is the definition of protective. He was just so protective of the female main character that went through a lot in that book, or she says that she's gone through a lot, and he helps her through so much. He understands her. He's going through so much. He's taking care of his little sister. Again, just when a guy is so mature and when he is a man and he has stuff going on and he takes care of the people around him, it's just attractive. It's just attractive when a man is being a man. Every time I think about this book, I think about rereading it, just because that book made me feel so much. It made me feel happy, sad, mad, everything, literally everything. And yeah, I love it. I love that book. Next we have Lauren Hale. This is the male main character from the book Addicted to You, and this one is a little hard because I am not that attached to him yet, because I haven't read much about him. I only read Addicted to You and Ricochet, and I still need to read so much more of the series. So again, I'm not really connected to him. So for right now, he's gonna go in not my type, because I just feel like I still have so much more to learn about him. And in those first two books, Addicted to You and Ricochet, you see them both more in like that toxic environment. So I don't have much to cling on to of like, yeah, he's a good book boyfriend. I love him. I'm obsessed with him. But I feel like that could definitely change by the time I read the rest of the series, because I know a lot of people like him. He's a lot of people's like favorites in the whole series. So I'm definitely excited to continue that series and see how I do end up feeling about him when I finish it. Next we have Weston Ryder. This is the boy from the second book of the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I think it's called Swift and Saddled. I'm also gonna put him in major crush. I can't help myself. He was a cowboy. He was so helpful to the girl that was coming in. He was a flirt. And I just loved him. I loved him. He's a cowboy. What more else can you say? Connell, I don't know why he doesn't have a last name. I guess when I searched it up, there was no last name for this character. But, oh, this is from Normal People. So this one's a little bit complicated, because I feel like Normal People is another book that's told mainly for the plot line and to understand, like, just trying to like send a message and show a story instead of like character driven, like you trying to like the characters. This one's a little bit hard because I did love that book so much. I think about that book so much. I love it. It's another book that I kind of think I want to reread. It's hard, but I didn't love him and I didn't hate him. He was kind of just like, I want to say bland / boring. Like he was just kind of a normal character, not too much about him, but that doesn't mean I hated the book. Again, the book, the plot, everything was so good, and I feel like that was the point of the book. And it's not like I hated the characters either. Again, I didn't love them, I didn't hate them. It was more of like the plot that I love, so I think I'm gonna put him in bland / boring. Next we have Derek Pender. This is the male main character from the book The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I think I'm gonna put him in not my type. When I was reading the book, I thought definitely he is cute. He was a really good character. You could tell he felt so much for the female main character, and it was really sweet to read about. Throughout reading the book, I didn't catch myself like, oh my god, I'm literally obsessed with him, giggling, like thinking about him after. I didn't really catch myself doing any of that, so I was like, it was a good book. He was a sweet character, but I don't think I had a major crush on him or like was obsessed with him. So I think he goes in not my type, because I can see why people can love him, but for me it was just kind of, he was okay. Next we have Rory Miller, and I'm pretty sure this is from The Fake Out. This is the second book in, what series is it? Vancouver Storm series. He has so far been my favorite character in that series. Again, he's a golden retriever, flirty. He was just so good, and I'm gonna put him in Till Death Do Us Part. This is a book that I actually think about a lot. I loved this book so much. Rory is always flirting with her, like jokingly. Yeah, I think they pretend they start to like fake date, and obviously we know how those goes. I think I love a good fake dating trope, because they're like trying to act like they don't like each other other, but you know they really do. And I just loved everything about this book, and Rory made the book. Like, when I think about the fake out, the first thing I think about is Rory, because he was such a flirt. Like, I love guys that are just flirty. I don't love guys in real life that are flirty. Luke Ryder, where is this from? This is from The Graham Effect. I think I'm gonna put him in not my type. There was really nothing wrong with him. When I think about the book, I don't think about, oh my god, I loved him so much. Like, I didn't really have a crush on him. There were some things that I was like, oh my god, like, did he really just say that? Like, that was kind of great. I didn't have like a major crush on him. Like, when I think back on the book, I don't think like, oh my god, I loved him so much. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say not my type, because I can see why people can have a crush on him, because he is like a flirt. He is kind of like the brooding type, and I've learned that I don't really like the brooding characters, but I can see why people can like him, so he's just gonna go in not my type. Next we have Emmett Rhodes. This is when my whole Rhodes series started, the Queen's Cove series by Stephanie Archer, and I became obsessed with that series, so we're gonna see a lot of the brothers coming up. But Emmett Rhodes, I think I'm gonna put him in major crush. I think I have a major crush on all the brothers in this book. I'm obsessed with them all because I feel like they're all very flirty. Every single one of them, they're very flirty. Emmett Rhodes, I'm definitely gonna put him here. He was one of the biggest flirts in the book, I think. It's between him and his other brother, Wyatt Rhodes, but I really liked him. Again, I just love myself a good flirt, so he's definitely gonna go in major crush. Then we have Jasper. I don't even know how to say his last name, but he is from Powerless by Elsie Silver. I gave this book, I think, like 4 stars, 4.25 stars. That was the lowest book I rated in the Chestnut Spring series, and I didn't enjoy it that much, and he's a lot of people's favorite book boyfriends in that series, so I feel like I'm missing out on something. Like, I feel like when I was reading, I don't know, maybe I was in a book slump or something, but when I think about that book, I don't remember Jasper leaving that much of an effect on me. I'm gonna put him in not my type. I am willing to reread that book and see, maybe I feel the same, like he just didn't really hit different for me, or I was in a book slump and I wasn't really connecting to the book, and this time I will. So yeah, I think it's gonna go in not my type. I do understand people are obsessed with him. Next we have Wyatt Rhodes. I'm gonna put him in major crush. This is the other flirty brother in the Queen's Cove series. Again, he's just such a flirt. He didn't care about anything that he said, and in that book, you see the female main character, she kind of always had a crush on him, and he kind of knows it too, because he's just him. He's like, I know she has a crush on me, but like, who wouldn't? Like, he's kind of cocky a little bit, but towards the end of the book, you see him getting a soft spot for her, and it's the cutest thing ever. So just like book boyfriends that have that soft spot but still that flirtiness is like the best mix ever. I'm getting so hot in my room right now. I wanted to have this blanket on me for like coziness, but I don't think I can anymore. Okay, next we have Shane Lindley. I think this is the book boyfriend from The Dixon Rule, and I'm gonna put him in major crush. I actually really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this one better than The Graham Effect, and I knew Shane was gonna be one of my favorite characters in that little series because I saw him in The Graham Effect. I knew he was, again, I feel like I just like say this all the time, but he was a flirt. He was a flirt, and I knew I was gonna like him whenever his book came out, which was, it was gonna be the next book. I feel like it's always the flirty characters that have so much more depth to them because they have this like flirty front and like they know they're flirting, they're confident, but they also have a side to them where they get shy and they get very protective and soft over the girls that they get with. And I love seeing both those sides and that mix because, again, it just makes the perfect man. Next, we have Miles in Vacation Wars. This one is so hard because I remember reading that book and I really liked him. I thought he was such a good character and I thought he was really underrated. I felt like the book is underrated. It was a really fun summer read and I feel like the romance in that book was really nice too. I'm gonna put him in major crush because I think the character himself, he was a really nice character, super sweet. He like helps her throughout the book for something. I can't remember what, but he's like helping her. I just remember reading that book and being so surprised on how much I liked him. He was also kind of flirty, so I was like, wait, this is coming out of nowhere because I didn't expect me to like the characters in that book. I was just kind of going into it for the vibe, and I actually really liked the romance and the characters, so I was like, yeah, I kind of really like him, so I'm putting him in major crush. We have so many more book boyfriends to go, and this video is already kind of getting long, so I have to start trying to speed it up a little bit. Next we have Miles from Funny Story. Honestly, I'm gonna put him in not my type. I really can't remember how he was in Funny Story. I do know that a lot of people do love the book and they do love him as a character. I just feel like he is one of the most normal characters I've ever read about, and I think I said that whenever I read the book. And he's just a very normal character. There's nothing too like special about him or nothing bad about him. He's just so normal, and I feel like that's the best way I could put it. Like, he's so real. He felt like a real character. I feel like that's why I'm putting him in not my type. He was just kind of, he didn't stand out. It's not like he was boring, because he wasn't boring. He had some aspects to him, and obviously like some people like him, so he's obviously not boring. So I'm definitely gonna put him in not my type. Then we have Justin from Just for the Summer. I think I'm honestly gonna put this one in not my type too. I know people love him and love his character in the book. I feel like when I think of Just for the Summer, I remember the plot and I remember loving that storyline. I don't really think about the mailman character and think, yeah, I was obsessed with him in that book. But I do know people did love him in that book, so he's definitely like right in the middle. Next we have Holden Rhodes. This is the 4th book in the Queen's Cove series, and he is going all the way at the top, right here, till death do us part. He is the most perfect Rhodes brother. He was my favorite. He is the quiet brother, and I usually don't like the quiet characters in books. I like the loud, flirty, golden retriever ones. But in this book, he just hit different because he comes off as like mean and broody, but it's really just because he doesn't open up and he doesn't want people to see like a soft side of him, because I think he's like the oldest brother. Like, he has to take care of all his brothers. He has to take care of this hotel that I think someone left him, his aunt or something. The way he treats the female main character in this book is like a dream. Acts of service. Like, he listens, he pays attention to everything she says. He puts that into action, and it's just the best thing ever. And then when he's with her, you see him like become soft and open up more. And honestly, I love that book so much, and I love him so much. Again, if he was a real person, I'd be locked in already. Next we have Felix Clark. He is the mailman character from the book This Summer Will Be Different, I'm pretty sure. I will say, I think I probably still do have a major crush on him. He was another flirt, so that's like best friend's brother trope. He's the best friend's little brother. I don't know, when little brothers in books are like flirty, I feel like it's always like the younger ones that are flirty. Like in the Windy City series, which we'll get to soon, Isaiah is like the flirty one, and in this book, Felix, obviously they're not brothers, it's like a sister and a brother. Felix is flirty, and every time like a younger brother is flirty, I'm like, why? And I don't know, I absolutely loved it. I loved his character. Next, we have Theo Silva, and if you haven't watched my other videos, you probably don't know, but if you have, you know where he's going. He's going until death do us part. I will claim that man as my husband. I don't care. I literally don't care if he's real or not. That is my husband for life. I think he is my favorite book boyfriend I have ever read about, ever. I need to reread that book ASAP just because like I miss him. I feel like I haven't interacted with him in such a long time. I sound crazy. I know I sound crazy. I literally do sound crazy. That book is Accidental Pregnancy, and he is a bull rider, and he's a cowboy, and he's perfect. What more else do I have to say? Just the way he treated Winter in that book. And Winter, she doesn't really give anyone the time of day. They usually say like her name is perfect, like Winter, and then her sister is Summer, like super bright, and then she's just like super cold. I just loved him so much. He is the perfect man. If you have not read that book, you definitely need to, because you will fall in love with my man. Next we have Finn Rhodes. For some reason, Absolute Trash is looking good. Do I put him in Absolute Trash? I'm gonna put him in Absolute Trash. And I'm so sorry. I just said I did like all the Rhodes brothers. He just made me so mad. I think he's the youngest brother. His story is it's not a second chance. I don't think so. They were like childhood best friends, and then something happened and they see each other again, and I think they fake date for something. I don't really know, but I felt like the whole time he definitely owed an apology to the female main character, and we didn't really get it to the end of the book, and even then his apology was terrible. We definitely needed more. She needed more, and throughout the whole book it felt like she was the one that was chasing him, and I didn't really like that, and it honestly felt like he loved it. Like he loved that she was chasing her and it felt like he was leading her on. So I don't really know. I felt like he was absolute trash. I didn't really like him. And he was just kind of bothering me the whole book. Next we have Lucian Rollins, main character from the book Things We Left Behind. I'm gonna put him, this may be controversial, but I'm gonna put him in not my type. I did love that book, The Enemies to Lovers. It was really good. I really liked it. When I was reading that book, the way that he would talk and just the way that he is, I always said that I would be so scared of this man if he was talking to me that way, or if I was just like in his presence. I'd be so scared of him. I don't know. I know some people love him, but he would just, if he was a real person in front of me, I would be so scared of him. So that's just not my type. If you love him, you do you. Next, we have Jacob Maddox from Yours Truly. This one also might be controversial. Everyone loves Jacob. He's very, if he wanted to, he would. I think in the book it literally says that. And he was a very sweet character, very thoughtful. He was a very good character, like typical nice book boyfriend, but I think I'm gonna put him in not my type. I feel like he just didn't really stand out to me. He was a very like soft boyfriend, and I think I do see why people do like that, but I do like the book boyfriends that are more out there. I don't think I had a major crush on him or was obsessed with him. Next, we're gonna go to Reed from The Heartbreak Rule by Stephanie Archer. He's going in absolute trash. Yeah, he's going in absolute trash. I just remember not liking his character. I didn't like the female main character in this book either. I didn't really like the characters. I didn't like this book. I didn't like the characters either. Which is a lot coming from me because I love Stephanie Archer books, but he was a grown man, and I feel like every situation that they both handled, it was very immature, and it felt like I was reading about two like teenagers or like young 20-year-olds, and I think they're in like their 30s or 40s. Like, it was just really bad, and I didn't really like him. So yeah, he's gonna stay in absolute trash. Next is Henry Turner from Daydream. Was a very sweet character. He was golden retriever. He's the character that kind of made everyone laugh. He was the captain of the hockey team. This is in the Wildfire and Icebreaker series, like that series. I know a lot of people love him. He was a lot of people's favorite characters. Everyone was looking forward to their book. I was looking forward to his book. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like in his book, I didn't enjoy him that much. I'm gonna put him in not my type. That might be another controversial one, but I don't know. He didn't really stand out to me when I was reading his book. I wasn't really like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with him. Next, we have Bo Eden. He is the brother from Hopeless in the Chestnut Spring series, and I'm also gonna put him in Major Crush. I didn't really enjoy his book that much. He was kind of like my second least favorite book, but I love his character so much. We see him throughout all the books. That's why his book was last, because he was a very anticipated book character to read about. So even though his book wasn't really the best, I didn't really enjoy it, I still love his character, and I think he went through so much, and we see the real side of him, and we see him get his true self back. Honestly, I just love him so much. I think I could cry thinking about him just because of like everything that he went through and everything he got out of. He's just like one of the sweetest, most wholesome characters I've ever read. Next, we have Noah from the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I'm gonna put him in bland/boring. I don't really remember much from this character. I read that book for the vibes, not for the character, and again, I don't really remember much about him, so he's gonna go in bland/boring. Next, we have Ford Grant. This is the main character from the book Wild Love by Elsie Silver, and you guys could probably guess where I'm putting him. I'm putting him in Major Crush. Again, he's a cowboy, he's a single dad. Elsie Silver's new single dad series, I'm absolutely loving. We're about to get to one of the other characters, but Ford Grant, I really loved him. He was another flirt, but he wasn't like super flirty. Like, he would throw out like subtle hints when he was more comfortable with her. In the beginning, he is kind of like that grumpy character. I did really love him. He has a soft spot for the female main character in the book too, which I love seeing in characters, because it's like, you can't act all mad when you know you have a soft spot for the female main character. Like, stop acting. Next, we have Evan Zanders from the book Mile High, the first book in the Windy City series, and I'm honestly gonna put him in not my type. I really enjoyed the book because there is a lot of character development, and I did enjoy the book. It wasn't my favorite book in the series. I did enjoy it because of like that character development and everything that the characters go through and how they help each other kind of go through this stuff. So I did enjoy that, but I feel like his character, I didn't really have a major crush on him. I was just like, he really needs to grow up and he needs to mature, and that's why like maybe towards the end of the book I might have had like a little crush on him, but throughout the whole book I was just like, he needs to get out of this like immature state. Yeah, I'm gonna say not my type. He is, you know, like kind of that player type, kind of flirty, so I know some people might like him, but just me personally, I didn't really enjoy him throughout most of the book. Next we have Nate from In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros, and I'm gonna put him in bland/boring. I can't really remember much about his character. I remember a lot of the plot. I don't remember really anything special about him. Yeah, that says a lot. Next we have Caden Monroe. I'm pretty sure this is the boyfriend from the book Underneath the Sycamore Tree. This is another book that is very heartbreaking, and I feel like you're reading it mostly for the plot and the sadness of it. So I didn't really like him in the book. I'm honestly gonna put him in absolute trash because I feel like throughout the whole book, he was kind of mean to the female main character, and she's like going through so much, and granted he doesn't really know what she's going through until like a little bit towards the end of the book, but even then he still wasn't like the nicest to her. And I guess like, yeah, he's real, he's not like putting up a front just because like she is going through something, but still I feel like he could have been a little nicer. I don't know, I just didn't really like his character. He is young, like it's a YA book. They are still like in high school. I don't know, I just didn't like his character. He gave me bad vibes. Next we have Hayden Owens. He is the male main character from the book The Wingman, the third book in the Vancouver Storm series, the same series that Rory Miller is from, but I actually didn't really like his character. I think I'm gonna put him in not my type because I can see why people do like him. He was a very sweet character and he cared about the female main character a lot. He has like a major crush on her, so it is sweet to see that, and I did like his character. I thought he was very sweet. I don't know, I feel like for me he wasn't giving much. I did like their relationship, but when I thought about like if I liked him, I was just like like he's okay. Next we have Weston Belmont. This is the male main character from the book Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, and he is going until death do us part. He is another one of the most perfect book boyfriends I've ever read about. Another man that if he was real, I would marry him on the spot. He is absolutely perfect. Another single dad, another golden retriever flirt, and he is just such a real, genuine character. The way the whole book was put together, I honestly love everything about that book. It was just so perfect, and the way he handled every situation in that book was just perfect, and he's just perfect. So that's another book that I really suggest you guys reading if you haven't, because honestly just because of him, like he's so perfect. Next we have Ryan Shea, and I'm gonna put Ryan Shea in major crush. He definitely would be a great boyfriend, and when I think about him being a boyfriend, I think that he is the perfect boyfriend. He's very acts of service. That's again what his character in his book is kind of known for, that he listens to the female main character and he does everything that she said that she likes. And yeah, he is a very good boyfriend. Definitely did have a major crush on him when I was reading about him. He is very sweet too. There's so many parts in the book where he does the sweetest things, and it's just like all moments. He was just like a roller coaster. Like he would make me giggle and laugh. He would make me cry because of like how sweet he was. He was just a really good boyfriend. Next we have Kai Rhodes. This is the third book in the Windy City series. I don't know if I said where he was from. He's the second book in the Windy City series, Ryan Shea. And then Kai Rhodes is the third book in the Windy City series, the book Caught Up. He's a single dad, and I also loved him a lot. The only thing about him, I'm putting him in major crush, but the only thing about him is that he was one of those like broody characters. He was kind of mean to the female main character in the beginning of the book, and I was like, okay, like you don't really need to be that mean. There were some cons about him in the beginning, but getting towards the end of the book, I did grow obsessed with him. And when I do think about that book, I do think, yeah, he was definitely a hot character. Next we have Ethan Brady. He is from the book Call It What You Want. I did a reading vlog in this video, so if you guys kind of want to know what that was about, it's like a situationship. So the girl they just kind of keep like going back to each other. I'm gonna put him in absolute trash. I didn't see anything special about this guy, and he was honestly just like leading her on, and he knew that she had a soft spot for him, so he was just like a terrible character. But I honestly feel like that might be the point of the book, because it's trying to show like, look how boring and like there's nothing special about him and how he treats her, and she's still going back to him like every guy does this type of thing. So I feel like he was meant to be portrayed as a terrible character, but you know, he was, and he did the job, so he's definitely going in absolute trash. Next we have Isaiah Rhodes. He's my type of book boyfriend, and he's going all the way in till death do us part. Why did he disappear on me? Oh, he went in Major Crush. No, he's going until death do us part. He was another book boyfriend where he is like the flirty one. He is Kai Rhodes' little brother, and they both play baseball together, and I usually hate baseball players, but he's literally the only exception. I absolutely loved him. He was such a flirt. He is another one that was like always flirting with the physical therapist. Sounds kind of like Rory from The Fake Out, but he was always flirting with her, and then she's always had like an engagement ring on, and then she doesn't wear it for like a couple weeks, and he notices it, and he's like, okay, I have to actually log in now. Like, she's finally single, and it's so cute how open and honest he is about flirting with her and about having a crush on her. And she's like, oh my god, like, stop joking. And he's like, you're so funny, but like, I'm actually not joking. And I don't know, I just love his bluntness, his flirtiness. He was protective for the right reasons, and, you know, has always had this soft spot for her, but when they start becoming a little more serious, you see it even more because obviously they're opening up to each other more. So yeah, he was just so perfect. I love him so much. That's another book that I would love to reread. Next we have Gus Ryder. He is the single dad from the book not Wild and Wrangled, Lost and Lassoed, the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. He was another character that was kind of like the broody type. It was an enemies to lovers book, and I do think that those two characters fit each other perfectly well, but I'm honestly gonna put him in not my type because I didn't really enjoy his character that much. I know a lot of people did like him and did like his character. They were really excited for that book, but I feel like I was really excited for that book because of the amount of tension the two characters had. I feel like he was too broody for me. Like, I just like the nice boys, you know, in the book. But I could see like towards the end of the book why people do really like him, because he does have like that character development towards the end. Next, this is the last one, Liam Xander. I don't know why I have two, but he is from the book Collided by Lauren Asher, the F1 Dirty Air series. I'm gonna put him in Major Crush. He was another very flirty character. He's German, and I didn't know that. Well, I did kind of know that, but I forgot until I opened the audiobook, and the audiobook started talking to me in like a German accent, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot this guy is German. It just made him even hotter because I was like, well, he has this accent. So then I would read it, and I was like, reading it in my head with a German accent. I really did like him. He's just like flirty. Obviously, we know it's a common trend. It's a common trend now, but he was one of those flirty characters, and throughout the book, you see them grow a friendship, and I love guys that are like okay with growing a friendship, even though they're like obsessed with her. Like, you see him have such a major crush on her, and she's like, no, we have to stay friends, and he's like, okay, but like in his head, he's like, oh, I'm so obsessed with her, I don't want to be her friend. The way he is like in his actions, like showing her that he does like her, but then with everyone else, he's like, no, I don't think I really like her, and everyone else is like, whoa, you're not showing that, like we can kind of tell that you're obsessed with her. I don't know, I just loved his character, and he does have character development because in the beginning he is kind of like a player, but towards the end he's just a little softy, and I loved it. Yeah, let's ignore this ad at the top, but this is what my tier ranking looks like. I have how many boyfriends at the top? 5. Those are all my boyfriend, my husbands. No one take them. Those are literally my men. Everyone else you guys can have. Yeah, those are all the book boyfriends I've read about this year and how I feel about them. Take that as you will. If you guys want to read the books, if you guys don't want to read the books, you do as you please. That's basically it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Kind of a lengthy one. I didn't know I would take this long. I just love talking about the men I read about. At the end of the day, I feel like they're all perfect. They all have something special and unique about them. So yeah, but I really hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you know when I post my next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas. I keep forgetting. So yeah, bye!